it will grind him to powder. Woo, man, look at Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Look at Daniel's 10. Because, excuse me, Daniel's the 2nd chapter deal with Nebuchadnezzar seeing this image, and the Most High was showing him through Daniel the kingdoms that were ruling the earth. From the Egyptians, from the Babylonians, from that point of him ruling, Babylonians and the Persians and the Medes and the Greeks and the Romans, to the latter end of the kingdoms that we're in now, super part of earth, so-called America. So, looking at verse 31, let's start with 31. Thou, O king, saw it, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass. And you notice it goes from gold to insignificant or not as valuable metals. This image head was of fine gold. Okay, his breast and his arms of silver. See, silver is less than value than gold. His belly and his thighs of brass. Brass is less than silver and gold. His legs and his legs of iron. His feet part of iron and part of clay. So his legs of iron. So you're dealing with the head, fine gold. I'm not going to go to the whole chapter, but this is dealing with the Babylonian Empire. Then his breast and his arms of silver dealing with the Persian and Mede Empire. His belly and his thighs of brass dealing with the Greek Empire. His legs of iron dealing with the Roman Empire. His feet part of iron and clay. Part of iron and part of clay is dealing with America and the latter Greco-Roman Empire. That's what they represent now. It says, verse 34, Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them into pieces. This is dealing with the kingdoms that will be the superpower of earth in these last days. That's why it's the feet. That's the last part of the image. The last kingdom will be on this earth. Part of iron and clay. It's strong in one aspect. Military, as we just said, my secretary said, hey, all the military going to get together to fight because they all together with America, especially when it comes down to fighting the h.o.d.c. to try and retain their kingdoms. When you say they are, the end result is all here. So it says, verse 34, Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, the stone of h.o.d.c, which smote the image upon his feet and that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. We know it says they're going to break them to pieces. Then what he going to do? He's going to burn them up. Ain't going to be nothing but dust and smell of smoke. He's going to grind them to powder. We know that. Say, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together. All nations that are ruled over the children of Israel going to be broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, part of the wheat that just blown away, good for nothing. And the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. Ain't no place gonna be found for them, because it's gonna be the Most High, the h.o.d.c, and the children of Israel, ruling forever and ever and ever. No place gonna be found for these other nations. That's what it's telling you, point blank. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. So, yeah, that's why when you look at, go back to 2nd Ezra, I still, I just got to bring this in because I want you to see certain things as the Spirit is bringing it. You still going to go back to these Pharisees and Scribes because they join on with them until this day. Ain't nothing new under the sun. They still join unto them. Look, look at like it tells us here in that let me go back there. Where you see where he's saying in verse 35 of Daniel's 2nd chapter, it says, let me read the whole thing. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together. That means all nations that had us in captivity going to be broken together, broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors. The part of the wheat that just blowed away with the wind, and the wind carried them away. That wind is that destruction that he's going to bring. We just know nuclear destruction, but we know he's coming. Carried them away. That no place was found for them. Hear that? And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. So let's look at that mountain. Go to 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, and verse 6. This is my h.o.d.c. But I beheld, Ezra beheld, and lo, he, my h.o.d.c, had graven himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. See, he couldn't see the hill because it was not a mountain. It was pertaining to the children of Israel. Those 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel, that became this great mountain. Well, the scripture tells us that, you know, the mountains represent people. So that's why I say that great mountain, like it says, represent the children of Israel coming into power. When he break down, as we read about how he's going to break down and grind the superpowers of the earth, military, into powder. Dust and smell of smoke is the only thing that can be perceived, he said. So this is very, very important that we see this and understand this. Galations 17. Pages is all. My Bible's all this. Where will be? I'm just looking trying to find where I need to be. It's on this side. There it is. Okay. Good. Look at Revelation 17 and verse 11. Then I'm going to get off this and go back into these Pharisees. They're going to be joined with them. It says, and the beast that was and is not, talking about the Roman Empire, even he is the 8th, which represent America coming from Britain, and is of the 7. Of the 7 means he's of Britain, which is of the 7. And go up into petition, going into dealing with bringing forth this hell on this earth, contrary to the word of the Most High. his law, statutes, and commandments. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast, with them. 10, that's the e.c. or the NATO, they call them now, European Economic Community or European Community or NATO. Say these have one mind, they have one mind. That's why they confederate against the Most High, they're the enemies and the haters of the Most High. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb. Hear that? We just read about in 2 Galations the 13th chapter. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is power of powers and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Then you know, this is the end result. It's all written here, all throughout the Bible. So that's very important to see. That's the end result. Can't change that. Just like we received our judgment, everybody gonna receive a judgment. Whether you was good or whether you was bad, whether you was good or whether you was evil. But we know that's gonna happen. We know it's gonna happen. Because it is written. So back to the matter at hand. These Pharisees, because you understand, this is why this is the whole problem with the Pharisees, the Scribes, the high priests, and those of the day that's trying to deal with we as a people, the children of Israel, in a way that is not satisfactory to the Most High. That's the end result. That's the payment that they're going to get. We just read about it. We just read about it. Whether you accept it or not, it is what it is. Just a moment. Okay, Shalom. I'm back. So, this is the whole problem with the Pharisees and those that were rolling with the scribes and the elders and chief high priests and so forth, the Sadducees. Just a whole get down. Right here in St. John 11:47. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees a council. They coming together and said, what we gonna do? For this man doeth many miracles. This is when the h.o.d.c had Lazarus risen from the grave after he had been dead for 4 days. Everybody was marveling. So they tripped. The chief priests and the Pharisees. That's why they held this council and said, hey, what we gonna do, man? It's a fact, this man doing many miracles. h.o.d.c. If we let him thus alone, if we leave him alone, all men will believe on him. Everybody gonna believe on him. So they looking at, hey, I gotta keep all these men with us. I want the people to follow us. This is what they say. If we let him alone, all men will believe on him. And the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. That's what this was all about. They're afraid of the Romans, who they're working for, gonna come and take away their place. So they got a place with who? The Romans. They caught up in the system with the Romans. That's why they was able to give him over to the Romans, and the Romans were able to put him to death. They ain't just come out of nowhere and just, hey, here we go. We'll give you a Mashiach Shai, put him to death. No, they had a relationship with the Romans. That's why he's saying the Romans shall come and take away our place. Set a place with the Romans, with a system that was ruling over Israel at that time. That's why Mashiach Shai, and he said, and nation, the Most High's inheritance. That's why he told them a story about the Most High sent his son. And they say, hey, we killed the son, we're going to get all the people. And nation, that's what they're saying right there. Mashiach always cut them. That's why you look at the Romans, Mashiach Shai cut them too. Look, he said, look, what? Matthew 11:11. He said, verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, they have not risen greater than John the Baptist, who was the Mashiach Shai's cousin, who was forerunner for Mashiach Shai, who baptized him, matter of fact. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. And you're least in the kingdom going to be greater than John the Baptist. He had his job to do. As long as you're in there, that's all you be concerned about. Con? Right. It says, verse 12, and from the days of John the Baptist until now, this is Mashiach Shai speaking. He said, from the days of John the Baptist, when he was telling Israel to repent and keep the commandments of the Most High, until now, Mashiach Shai, the kingdom of heaven, which we are, the children of Israel, suffereth violence. See, let them know we were suffering violence. It said, and the violent take it by force. Who the violent? Who took us by force? The Romans in 70 AD brought us down. See? He called them violent. Then he said, also, go to Luke 21:20. He called them the violent. Luke 21, because a lot of you don't really look at our story. But his story is going to tell you lies. But our story is going to tell you the truth. Luke 21:20. He told us, he forewarned us, he said, and when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies. What armies will be compassed in Jerusalem during the time of Mashiach Shai walked the earth? The Roman armies, the Roman legions, the Roman armies, so-called Italian, Caucasian armies, and those that were joined with them. He said, when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. This desolation of when they're going to take us down is near. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. That's when we fled into Africa. Couldn't no Jewish people that live today flee. They flee to Africa, they're going to know who they are. Bam, they go one, but we can flee into Africa. We had provinces there as Israelites. Many different places that we could go to be amongst our people that was there. And still hide among the dark nations that's there in Africa, the Hamites. That's what they say, flee to the mountains. And let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein. Don't come back in if you outside. When you see them armies compass about Jerusalem, don't come back in. For these be the days of vengeance. Vengeance. Where he say the violent take it by force. So they not violent, not bringing forth no vengeance. These be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. See? So he told us that then, right? Look what he said in Luke 19:43. He warned us before it, even Luke 21:20. He said, for the day shall come upon thee, talking to Israel, that thine enemies, not your friends, thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee. He said when you see Jerusalem compassed with armies, say your enemies. So he didn't call them violent. Now he's calling them the enemies. He told them that the days of vengeance coming upon us by who? By our enemies. Listen to what he said. Luke 19:43. For the day shall come upon thee that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round. You tell you, we see Jerusalem compassed with armies. They're going to surround us, put a trench around Jerusalem, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side. You ain't going to be able to go out or come in. That's why he said, hey, if you outside, don't try to come in. These be the days of vengeance, and shall lay thee even with the ground. Gonna lay you even with the ground, flat line you, kill you. And thy children within thee, kill the children that we have too. And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. You ain't know the time. He warned us. Just like we warning you now in these last days. But who's going to take heed to really be prepared for what is getting ready to go down? It's all here. It's just where you going to be at. Don't be thinking, oh, I ain't got to be concerned about nothing because the Most High going to beam me up. That's what they teach in the church. He going to take care of me. Let him take care of you for whatever your needs are now. Just stay home and let everything come to your door. See if that happens. You better have some wisdom to know what you got to deal with in these last times. To have faith in the Most High. The utmost faith in the Most High. But you still got to be operating in works. Doing what you got to do to show that you have wisdom. He ain't tell you to be no fool. That's why he just told them what? They going to just stay there? Or the Most High going to take care of me? He just said, hey, get up out of there. Know that the time of desolation is near, the time of vengeance is upon us. That's what he said. So, it's very important to understand that, but some didn't. That's why they went in. That's why he said, hey. Luke 19. And, no, verse, go back to 21. Verse 21 and 23. Luke 21 and 23. But woe, destruction unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck, have babies that they got to breastfeed in those days. And he's screaming at them. It's loud. You know, he went out to a ship and spoke to the people on the shoreline. So he's screaming at them. Tell them how loud this is. Because when they came together, he said, whom do you seek? They said, the Mashiach Yahushua of Nazareth. He said, I am he. And they fell to the ground. Let them know that you really couldn't do nothing if I didn't want you to do. It wasn't prophesied that I would have to come here and die for the sins of the children of Israel. He said, I am he. 3 words. And they all fell down to the ground. That's how powerful his voice was. That's how powerful the Most High gave him. Listen what it says. Verse 23 of Luke the 21st chapter says, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, those that have little children. But there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people, upon the children of Israel. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword. This is 5 years of war. That's why the Bible stops in 65 AD. Picks up approximately in 90 to 96 AD. In Revelations. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles. These other nations. Starting with the Romans. And all those joined with them. Until now. Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. The times of the Gentiles just about over. We got next forever and ever and ever, Yahshua. Those that's going to come back to the Most High in true righteousness, keeping the law, such commandments of the Most High, having faith in the Most High, fearing the Most High, and crying unto the Most High. That's why it's so important that we lock into these scriptures and see what it is that he's given us, so that we don't be the same way as the Pharisees, the Scribes, high priests, and Sadducees and so forth. You don't want to be like them. Or you got to deal with the outcome that's written. Look at Matthew 22. Let's start at verse 1. It says, and Mashach answered and said unto them again by parables, and said, talking to the Pharisees and the chief priests, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king which made a marriage for his son. Talk about the kingdom of heaven. A certain king made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding. And they would not come. Say, hey, come into this truth. You got to hear the truth that we are the Israelites. The Most High said we got to keep his laws, statutes, commandments. Got to have faith in the Most High. But some of my shekels, no, I ain't got time for that. Again, he sent forth other servants, saying, tell them which are bidden, behold, I have prepared my dinner. Tell them that I invited. Tell them, hey, the dinner is ready. I prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come into the marriage. Come into the marriage. Everything's ready. But they made light of it, like it's no big deal. It's like some of you probably make light of this. Ain't no big deal. I'll just wait, until, I know I'm going to be all right. They made light of it. Like it's no big deal for what it is that's the Most High has brought forth in these last days to bring to us through his messengers, the prophets in these last days. But they made light of it and went their ways. One to his farm, another to his merchandise. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully, and slew them, killed them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their city. Then said he to his servants, the wedding is ready. They which were bidden were not worthy. The ones I invited to come, and they had all these excuses, what they had to do. They did whatever they wanted to do besides coming to be able to be a part of the kingdom of heaven. Say, they wasn't worthy. Verse 9, go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as you shall find, bid to the marriage. Mean as you find, tell them to come to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good. Hear that? So all you that says, oh, you got to only get those that are, righteous, it said they gathered both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. That's why he told you, people, just like, that's why you can't get into this truth and just put down our people, because it was a time that you didn't know. That's why he told us in Acts 17:30, one of my favorites for the brothers and sisters that really think that they've done so much that they can't come into this truth. He just said, hey, the publicans and the hoes, the prostitutes, the harlots, gonna enter into the kingdom before the Pharisees, the chief priests, and so forth, the Sadducees and Scribes and all that. This is inspiration for you in Acts 17:30. In the times of this ignorance, the time you didn't know, the time you were in darkness, the Most High winked at. The time you were in darkness, ignorant, not knowing, the Most High winked at. But now, once you hear this, you got opportunity to be saved and make it to the kingdom. That's the only way you're going to be saved, is be saved from your enemies and from the hand of all that hate you. That's being saved, as is written. Luke 1:68-71. So, he said, in the times of this ignorance, the Most High winked at. He winked at you. But now, commanded all men everywhere to repent. He said to repent. Ask for forgiveness for breaking the Most High's laws. Sincerely. What else does it say? Because he have appointed a day, he appointed a day in the which he will judge the world in righteousness. He going to judge the world by his laws, statutes, commandments, which is Deuteronomy 6:25. Our righteousness is keeping the commandments of the Most High. He going to judge the world in righteousness by that man whom he have ordained. That's a Mashiach Yahushua. He's that man who the Most High has ordained. Whereof he have given assurance unto all men, in that he hath raised him from the dead on the third day. So that's what we're looking at here, brothers and sisters. No more, no less. Dealing with the kingdom of heaven. And being judged whether you have been good, keeping the laws of the Most High, keeping the commandments of the Most High, or bad, not keeping the Most High's laws, such commandments, or evil. Going back to Matthew 22 and 11. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he said unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. He couldn't say nothing. Came in and seen him, pointed him out. He was speechless. I mean, he was quiet. Didn't say nothing. They said the king to the servants, bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, for many are called, but few are chosen. I mean, that's a heck of a parable there. He told him, go. What did he tell him? He said, in verse 9, he said, Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. Tell them to come to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all, as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. You got the people there. But he looked around and said, oh, you done brought this wicked one up in here, huh? Why he said, hey. Verse 13, then said the king to the servant, bind him hand and foot, and take him away. If you bound hand and foot, and cast him into outer darkness, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. That's what Mashiach Yahushua. So there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen. So many are called, but few are chosen. Letting them know, hey, they're going to be exposed for who they are and what they're about. We letting them know. Their shame going to be seen. Standing out amongst everybody that's invited, they're going to be standing there and say, wow, I see them. Going to point them out. A lot of people going to be pointed out, letting you know, especially in the judgment. When you judgment seat, you're going to have those, letting you know that everybody that come to the judgment seat of Mashiach Yahushua not going to be redeemed. You're going to have some that he's going to make sure they're going to be examples. He's going to make sure that they're not exposed. And those are going to be exposed as being wicked and evil and bad. As we read, they're going to be cast in the lake of fire. Look at 2 Corinthians 5. Pertaining to the spirituality of what he's saying. He said, for we know that if our earthly house of this tabernacle were dissolved, we have a building of the Most High, in house not made with hands. Because when your body dies, that flesh goes back to the dirt. But we got a body that's a building of the Most High, a house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens, right? For in this we groan earnestly, desiring to be clothed upon with our house, which is from heaven. Verse 3. If so be that being clothed, since they was not clothed with the garment, coming to the wedding, so this is spiritual. He says, so if so be that being clothed, we shall not be found naked. You should not be found exposed to your wickedness and your evil that you have done. For we that are in this tabernacle, this body, do groan, being burdened, not for that we should be unclothed or exposed for the wickedness that we've done, but clothed upon, have a garment that's upon us, that mortality might be swallowed up of life. this mortal body might be swallowed up with eternal life, living forever and ever. Not that now he that hath wrought us for the self-same thing is the Most High, who also hath given unto us the earnest of the Spirit. Therefore we are always confident, knowing that which we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Most High, or h.o.d.c, for we walk it by faith, not by sight. See? We got to walk by faith. And the faith is an action. You're going to see this is what it all boils down to when you look at the works that we do in these bodies, that when the books are open, the judgment will come. It'll say, okay, well, come, my good servant. You've done a great job in the mortal bodies. And, or, it's going to be, hey, you did that which was evil and wrong in the eyes of the Most High, in my Father's eyes, therefore you'll be cast into the lake of fire. You got two choices. You got your free will. You got free will to choose life. You got a free will to choose death. That's all. Choose life or death. That's what this is all about, brothers and sisters. That's it. No more, no less. And the Pharisees, that's why you see that they always, look at Matthew 22:15, as he said that. Then went the Pharisees and took counsel how they might entangle him in his talk. We got to catch this cat because he keep on speaking these parables to us. They want to catch him in his talk. This is the spirit of the Pharisees. And you see them coming up all the time against us. And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians. With the Herodians. Remember, it's the Romans. The Herodians. They had disciples that was rolling with the enemy. I said the enemies. Call them the enemies. What part of y'all here? We just read it. And they sent out unto him his disciples with the Herodians, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of the Most High in truth. What's the truth? Psalms 119:142. Y'all should know it by heart by now. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. So the law is the truth. So he's teaching the way of the Most High in truth, in the laws of the Most High. Neither carest thou for any man. He wasn't partial to any man. But thou regardeth not the person of men, because the Most High ain't dealing with that. He said he had respect to Israel, no respect to person. Tell us therefore, what thinkest thou? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? See? They're trying to catch him in his speech so he can say the wrong thing, so they can have a reason to have what? Herodians are right there with him. You see what it said? And they sent out unto him their disciples with the Herodians, with the Romans, saying, Master, we know that thou art true, and teachest the way of the Most High in truth. So they bragging on him. They boasting him up so that he'll be comfortable and thinking that they're on his side. Trying to be slick. Neither carest thou for any man, but thou guardest not the person of men. Tell us therefore, verse 17, what thinkest thou? What do you think? Is it lawful to give tribute unto Caesar or not? Tribute is taxes. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar? Caesar represent who? The Romans. Or not? So you can say, hey, y'all ain't paying taxes, I can get you. Like the IRS today, right? Internal Revenue Service. They had Caesar that was at Israelites paying tribute to them, taxes to them. But I'm also going to perceive their wickedness, see? He perceived their wickedness, their evil, being bad. As we see the judgment going to come down. Listen. But the Mashiach shall perceive their wickedness and said, why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? You call them hypocrites, but yet still they thinking of, hey, what they say? Saying, Master, verse 16, saying, Master, we know that thou art true. We know that thou art true, and teachest the way of the Most High in truth. See, trying to get on his good side. But what he say? He like it says, verse 18, but the Mashiach perceived their wickedness and said, Why tempt ye me, ye hypocrites? Remember, they trying to catch him. The Pharisees took a counsel how they might entangle him in his talk, in his speech. So they can catch him saying the wrong thing, they can get him. Verse 19, show me the tribute money. And they brought unto him a penny. And he said unto them, whose is this image and superscription? Say, who's on this penny? Whose face is on this penny? They said to him, Caesar's. Then said he unto them, render therefore unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and unto the Most High the things that are the Most High's. When they had heard these words, they marveled and left him and went their way. They left him and went their way. So I say, you're looking at this, and from chapter to chapter to chapter, we saying, who is it that's against him? The Pharisees, the Scribes, the chief priests, Sadducees, elders, all against him. They were down with the system, the Romans. They were down with trying to keep the people under them and not be going to the side of a Mashiach, to be Mashiachim, the anointings, the Messiahs. But theirs, you know, Pharisees, Phariseeum, and the chief priestium, and the scribium, and so forth and so on. That they belong to them, and not Mashiachim, not the Most Highs and the Mashiachs and you know, the anointeds and the Messiahs. They don't want to see them follow in the name of the anointed Savior. They want them to be in the name of their name. Remember, they said they're afraid the Romans going to come and take away their place and their nation. That's the whole gamut of what this is about. Why they trying to catch you up so they can get them. Matthew 22:23. Same day came him the Pharisees. I'm sorry. The same day came to him the Sadducees, which say that there is no resurrection. So the Sadducees don't believe in regeneration or resurrection. When we just read in a previous lesson, we're going to read it again. Matthew 11 and 13. It says, for all the prophets and the law prophesied unto John. Talk about John the Baptist. This is my h.o.d.c words. Sadducees don't believe in the resurrection, right? And if ye will receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. So he let you know that John the Baptist had the spirit of Elijah, right? Which was for to come. So what is he before to come? Meaning it had to be prophesied that Elijah would come. So go to Malachi 4, 5, and 6. Remember, the Sadducees don't believe in this. Then and now. Malachi 4, 5, and 6. Behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming in the great and dreadful day of Most High, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children. Mind you, remember this. You're going to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse, right? So remember this. That's what he just said. Mashiach of Shai saying this. So you believe with him, you got to believe what he said. He told us this. So now, go to Luke, the first chapter. We see that in Matthew 11 chapter, Mashiach of Shai said,